Hey, guess who's having mucho technical problemos? And regular viewers will first note that from the dodgy quality of the camera, having to use my laptop's webcam because that other webcam that I always complain about has decided to ruin my life once and for all. So, that's that, I guess. I had been essentially meaning to replace it because it was giving me so much grief, but that is easier said than done at the moment because of all the shiz with everyone working from home and needing webcams for work meetings. So I don't know if and when I'm going to get a replacement webcam. We shall see. And say la vie, I shall soldier on best as I can because that is the world we find ourselves in this fine evening with technology plotting against me. Also, I feel like my hair is plotting against me and I don't know what it's doing. But that's the old COVID hair happening, not having had a haircut in, I don't know, 6 months? Maybe not that long. I don't know. Time no longer means anything. I cannot remember when things happened. I've been working from home for 8 or 9 months, but I did get a haircut after that. I was in the city for something else, and I went to my favorite place to get my hair done. It was, geez, you know what? I could probably guess from going back and looking at YouTube videos and seeing length of my hair and when it changed. Musical Aviator might need a date site for Monday. Nice. Yeah, obviously some places are going to be closed because some places just close over Christmas, New Year's, but I think you'll be able to find somewhere. And yeah, nice sly way of saying that you might have a date. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Excellent. Excellent news. Ugh. So, yes, I'm going to try and deal with my travails with technology and keep things going and see where it takes. What I see is it's talking about time not meaning anything. I very much lose track of what day it is. This is my first week of 3 weeks off work, and yes, I know it's Wednesday, but it actually took me a while to figure out that it was Wednesday when I was trying to coordinate things a bit yes, we go. We've got it's Festivus for Seinfeld fans. For anyone who remembers Seinfeld, December 23rd is Festivus, the Costanza family alternative to Christmas. Festivus for the rest of us. I've got a Festivus-themed cocktail going up on my YouTube cocktail channel. Feats of Strength is one of the 2 key things I remember about Festivus. One was airing of grievances. And if I dedicated this live stream, I keep looking. I'm going to take this webcam down because it's not plugged in. And I'm used to looking at it when I'm trying to make eye contact with yon audience, you fine people out there. So,
if you want to look around, I know that I bought a webcam and it isn't being used currently because he's out. So
oh no, okay, cool.
It's a good one too. So if you want to use that now, I don't know if you have the time to set it up.
It might interfere with the stream if I start changing cameras. I don't know. I'd rather. Thank you very much for the offer. I was just getting an offer of another webcam. Not sure what my microphone picked up, but I shall go with my less than stellar laptop webcam for this stream. Big Bad Ads, do I have the aluminium pole? I could lie and say I've got the aluminium pole. So I should have set up an aluminium pole here. I think I've got something that would look a bit like an aluminium pole, but that's another Festivus tradition. No tree, just a bare aluminium pole, no tinsel or anything on it. Yes, Music Elevator, the Sydney lockdown is looking interesting. Look, the initial signs are the outbreak has probably been controlled. I would say there's not much doubt we're going to get more cases, and some will probably pop up in various places. They'll be isolated and they'll end up being controlled. That's based on what we can see now. It's hardly conclusive what we can see now, but got a big body of evidence with an absolutely huge number of tests having been done and continuing to happen, and a really limited number of cases being detected. So I think it's getting to the stage where we can be reasonably confident that the Sydney outbreak is going to be contained. So we shall see. Justin, will New Year's Eve be cancelled? Depends what you mean by New Year's Eve. I think areas of Sydney that are currently seeing restrictions will continue to have restrictions at New Year's Eve. For instance, I don't know, I really don't know if all the capitals have done the same thing, but New Year's Eve fireworks were cancelled in Melbourne because they didn't want that big a crowd in the city, and you're basically attracting a really big crowd with the New Year's Eve fireworks. And so they've tried to do a separate thing where they encourage people to go to restaurants around the city for special dinner for New Year's Eve. And there's limited numbers in those. You have to have bookings. And hello, readers, and Charlie, and Fox. Nice to see you all. Howdy, all you all. But the cancelling fireworks in Melbourne was a good idea. I assume Sydney's done that. I actually don't know for sure. I'm making a big ass assumption because it would be dumb as hell. If Sydney hadn't already done it, they would need to do it now. That would be to actively encourage large crowds to gather on New Year's Eve would be potentially catastrophically bad. Ray, did you notice complacency with mask wearing? Yes, there is. I also feel like this Sydney outbreak, we're being punished for our hubris. We took it so casually. Ooh, Charlie, oh, that bites. I get it. Rearranging your flat, getting the stink of your ex out. Good. Moving on. Onwards and upwards. You're a woman who knows what she wants. That's good to see. Get life in order. Justin, the thing is, the idea of spreading fireworks to different parts of the city, you don't want to encourage large gatherings anywhere. I mean, I think, I don't know that they've changed it, but the SCG was allowed to, I don't know if there's any events on there, but they theoretically were allowed full capacity, like the 48,000, however. The MCG was still going ahead with the Boxing Day test, and they were allowing up to 30,000 people. A normal crowd, like a big crowd for Boxing Day test, is about 80,000. So they're allowing 30,000. Yeah, Justin, it is unsettling to not know exactly how the outbreak started. There's a lot of circumstantial evidence to say it's someone with an exemption. There's a strong chance it was flight crew from an international flight who was given the benefit of, you can self-isolate at home while you're waiting to fly out again. And someone just decided they didn't want to stay at home. There are also other people given exemptions and they're supposed to self-isolate. It could be that as well. Personally, I think we're moving to all international flight crews are going to be basically locked up in hotel airports and the gaps between flights. I think not doing that is ridiculous risk. So, right, is the Republican vaccine alternative? I'm not sure what a Republican vaccine alternative is. Intrigued to know. Raiders, look, there's a tiny chance that they know and are keeping it quite out of embarrassment, but they wouldn't be able to keep the secret, basically. And I'm trying very hard these days to avoid conspiratorial thinking because there's too much weird shit in the world. And there are too many idiots entertaining absolutely absurd conspiracies that are clearly not true. And I just think it's hard to criticize them if indulge in conspiratorial thinking yourself. So we'll look at Twitter. What do I do? Put Republican vaccine alternative. I'm not finding anything obvious. I don't know what you're talking about. So, yeah, see, Justin, I think that's what's happening with diplomats being allowed to home isolate and then not staying at home. Oh, nice. Fox got a booze delivery, Starwood, Nova, and Mac. That is a mighty fine delivery. That is some good shit right there. Charlie got gin and vermouth. Martini time. I actually want to make a martini with this little beauty because it's already got a bit of a citrus zing in it. I just want to do martini with that and a dry vermouth and a twist of lemon. I've got some lemons over there I can do a peel. Raiders, you sent me the tweet. I don't think it showed up. Oh, do you mean you sent it to me earlier? That what if we just get exposed to a weak version of the vaccine? If that's what you're talking about, I thought you meant just now. If that's what you're talking about, yes. Okay, he claims that's a joke, but I also think that's an out these fuckwits use from time to time when they say something really, really stupid and you say, you're an idiot. And they go, the joke, you're just too dumb and you didn't get it. But that's what he's doing at the moment. He's saying, that was a joke and you're all dumb for not getting it. I mean, it wasn't a funny joke. Oh, whatever, however you pronounce that guy's name, Poslibiak. I don't know how to pronounce his name. Posobic. Yeah, he's a fucking idiot. He's an absolute clown. But yeah, no, they just suck. They suck. He sucks. He's one of the really bad ones that just talk shit all the time and never take any responsibility for anything they say, and it's just dumb shit all around. The other thing is, Wednesday too early to have a martini? Well, I'm not working. I don't have to work, so I think I could maybe treat myself. Actually, I know what I should do. I should chill this. I should stick this in the freezer, and then I won't have to stir it with ice. I'll do that. Because it ain't gonna freeze. I know what I'll do. I'll put my martini glass in there too. That's not how this shit goes. God damn it. Also, put my martini glass in there. And put these ice creams here. Put that in recycling. I'm organised. Or I am now. I wasn't before, but I am now. Hey, Safa. Whew. Drove around to Mumstown, everyone in the supermarket and petrol station for long way. I found, because I've just come back from 4 days away in the country, out past Geelong, around Queenscliff Way, Bellarine Peninsula, and in shops and in hospitality venues like cafes, restaurants, etc. People just weren't wearing masks. They were in the shops. I went to the supermarket, and people were wearing masks in the supermarket. But in hospitality venues, they absolutely were not wearing masks. And you don't have to wear a mask, once you sit down and you've got a drink or food. Very hard to eat or drink with a mask on. And but that was interesting, how casual folk in the country were with masks. Raiders, our mask restrictions outdoors, they're optional. Indoors, so shops and hospitality venues, they're mandatory. But of course, you can take the mask off when you get served, because you can't eat or drink with a mask on, obviously. But so, yeah, if you're in a crowded area outdoors where you can't distance, you're supposed to wear a mask, but that's not going to be policed. They are mandatory indoors, but yes, as I said, you take them off when you're eating or drinking. So, if you've been wearing masks in shops since March, I started just before they became mandatory, and I don't remember when that was, because they were obviously going to be mandatory, because it was a thing that should happen. So I wanted to get used to it, and so I started wearing a mask a week or two before they became mandatory, because it's not something I'd done a lot in the past, and I wanted to get used to the whole thing. The cafe staff and my team weren't wearing them today. It's very weird that staff weren't wearing them. That is not a good look if staff at a venue are not wearing masks. And hello to you, Kirsten. Good to see you. So for what's the ice cream, I got little, they were like M&M cones because they were on special. That's how I decide what to get when I get stuff. Well, look, it's on half price special. We're getting that. And I think there was chocolate caramel flavor. And it was pretty good, actually. I had one a bit earlier. They're pretty good. And I think we've also, it's closed. Yep. I think we've also got some vanilla ice cream in there for, people who want a scoop of vanilla ice cream. Because that's the thing. That's the thing you want from time to time. Yes. Ice cream conversations. I like ice cream. Thing. So I was trying to think, what else did I do on the weekend? It was interesting. One of the distilleries I went to on my weekend away, the Whiskery, the Bellarine distillery, they'd always been geared up to make whiskey. This is obviously something the guy running it wanted to do from day one, but of course whiskey takes years to develop and mature, and they had always intended to bring out their first whiskey this year, and as we found out when we were there, it's not coming out till next year now. They hinted probably around March, but because they delayed it because it wasn't quite right, and it being their first whiskey, they want it to be, oh look, I'm doing the racist symbol. No, chef, I do the Italian thing. They wanted it to be just right, so they're delaying it till they're confident that's right, because it's their first whiskey and it's going to be closely scrutinized, so they want it to be good. So I might be able to get a whiskey from them next year. Probably not the first one because it'll be super expensive because it's a collector one. I'll wait till they've got some sort of regular or semi-regular production and see what price their whiskey goes for. Oh, banana paddle pops, Charlie. Just as a by the by, if you get banana liqueur, particularly the Japanese one, Lena, and have it with milk, that tastes just like a banana paddle pop. It's a booze banana paddle pop. Raiders, you're happy the Aussie dollar is going to be 80 cents next year? What, you mean worth 80 US cents? There's a lot of variables in that. If you want to try and predict what's going to happen with currencies in the future, it's very volatile. Does that mean you're planning on buying something from the US next year? It's funny. I was doing a thing where, and this was years ago in the early days on YouTube, I was making videos for this American operation, and they were paying me in US dollars, and it was like $75 per bit they used, and maybe it was more. Maybe it was I think it was a lot more. Anyway, I can't even remember. It was that long ago. Anyway, so I was making a bit of money from these guys, and they were paying me in US dollars. And when I started, the exchange rate was shit. Like it was, I think the Australian dollar was worth less than 70 US cents. So converted into Australian dollars, I was just making bank. And then over the next couple of months, because I did stuff with these people for a couple of months, the exchange rate skewed back towards favouring Australia, and it got almost to parity. I know it got to over 90 cents. So I was a bit miffed because the amount I was getting paid I mean, it was supposed to be, theoretically it was the same. From their perspective, they were paying me the same all the time. But from my perspective, the amount I was being paid dropped sharply over the months. I was a bit miffed about that. It was the weird twists and turns of international trade. Yes, for a little while, I was making out like a bandit, and then I lost all those benefits. Whereas you had time dealing US dollars with Chinese suppliers, US customers in 2008. Yeah, fucking currencies, international trade is volatile shit. Really volatile. Safi, see, I don't track these things. You're saying the Aussie dollar was at an 18-year low in March. Well, hot damn. It's all imaginary anyway, in case, I love that people treat money as if it's a real thing. And it's not real, it's imaginary. It has no actual intrinsic value. The only reason it has any value is because a whole bunch of people imagine the same thing at the same time. And the entire system of international trade is based on people agreeing on something. And when what you're agreeing is imaginary, that can be pretty goddamn dodgy. I mean, like, in yon olden times when trade was in precious metals and whatnot, like coins were actually gold or silver or whatever, and or you were trading in jewels or whatnot, then people would have to agree on what the value of that precious metals or gemstones was. But in theory, it was tied to something really real. Like a country's currency, they had a gold reserve to back that currency. So in theory, with the amount of currency that was circulating, the government that was guaranteeing that currency could, on demand, be converted to gold. And that system has its own flaws. Like, you get people who say, we should be on the gold standard. The gold standard's fucking terrible. There are some really, really bad flaws with the gold standard. And there's really big flaws with capitalism. And yes, Safa, capitalism is imaginary. It only survives because everyone agrees to imagine the same thing. That these bits of paper and these ones and zeros in computers have actual intrinsic value. And it's just this consensual hallucination. And so long as we're all having the hallucination together, that's well and good. But rejection of the hallucination by enough people would bring the whole thing tumbling down. So Reid is saying, the fashion industry, yes. Trying to predict 3 seasons ahead, quoting a reasonable rate, then the ass falls out of the Australian dollar. Yep. International trade, man. It's like... So that's why they hate cryptocurrencies. Cryptocurrencies are a bullshit fad. What cryptocurrencies are changes all the time. Cryptocurrencies are that imaginary thing, are turbocharged. Like, they're so open to fraud. There are so many flaws, and the fucking zealots who preach cryptocurrency, you can't tell the difference between them and a Christian evangelist when they get up on their high horse talking about the purity of cryptocurrency and how it's perfect and blah 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 blah, and it's ridiculous, quite honestly. So cryptocurrency is nerd capitalism on steroids. Cryptocurrency is stupider than normal. So was that cryptocurrencies are stupider than normal capitalism? Like that. The peaks and crashes is because, in many ways, the cryptocurrencies, the ones that aren't a complete and absolute total scam from top to bottom, and there are a bunch of them that have been nothing but scams from top to bottom. But like Bitcoin, for instance, which you can argue is not a complete scam, but it relies on this imagination thing. The way it's had these peaks and crashes is because it's very similar to the gold standard. Like, it's saying, like, oh, this is tied to a specific thing. In their case, it's an algorithm. The gold standard was tied to physical gold. The Bitcoin thing is tied to an algorithm. And if Bitcoin wasn't stupid as fuck, you wouldn't get this peak, crash, peak, crash, peak, crash, peak, crash, which it keeps having. So it's as stupid as anything else. And yes, Saju, cryptocurrency is a massive energy waste. It made all the graphics cards really expensive because they needed massive computer power to run the fucking algorithm. It's bullshit. It's probably one of the things. Go back in time. There's various things, it's very tempting to think, oh, if I'd go back in time, I'd fucking shoot the person who came up with that before they came up with it. One of them would be the person who did those pop-up web page ads that come up everywhere. Just fucking kill them before they came up with the idea. And cryptocurrency is probably another one. Hey, nobody. How you doing, my man? Yes. If I had godlike powers, there would be some smashy going on. Jeffrey on Facebook, without a government demanding payment of taxes in Bitcoin, it's like making bottle caps an underground currency. As soon as no one wants their bottle caps to fall apart. That is absolutely categorically the problem with Bitcoin. It's also the problem with every currency in the world. You've actually summed up really quite well, Jeffrey. As soon as people don't want their bottle caps, it's worthless. And that's what happens with any currency. If people lose faith in the country producing the currency, almost overnight, the currency can become worthless. Most recent dramatic example was Zimbabwe. Safa, the Scummo got an award from Trump, which is wild. I'll look it up. What exactly? Trump Award. More. What exactly did he award him? It was a prestigious U.S. military honor, the Legion of Merit, for his leadership in addressing global challenges and promoting collective security. There you go. Hilarious. Legion of Merit is awarded to U.S. soldiers and to foreign political or military figures. India's Prime Minister got one. Japanese Prime Minister got one. Oh, in the same territory. Okay, so Modi, fucking fascist, got one. And former Prime Minister Abe, Also a fucking nationalist and a fascist. Wow. Good company. Good company. Oh yeah, Justin. What do we call that? Or COVID payment, support payment that all the U.S. Congress could agree on was $600. And Trump has said he's not going to, like, he's going to veto that order. They need a better one, and it needs to be 2,000. Now, the interesting thing is Nancy Pelosi said, yeah, Trump's right, $2,000 for everyone, which puts the Republicans in an awkward spot, because Pelosi has gone on record saying, yes, Trump's right, the support payment should be $2,000 to everyone. And the Republicans could still block that, but it puts them in a hell of an awkward position. Fascinating. Be interesting to see how that plays out over the next couple of days, weeks even. With nobody, given that Trump has zero credibility. Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. Would ScoMo be embarrassed? He's, I don't know. He's an incredibly shallow person. Like, he's a majorly shallow person. So probably revel in it, but yeah, it's tainted. There's a really embarrassing fucking taint to go with that. Well, yes, Charlie, it's a good point. If ScoMo had any self-awareness, he would be very embarrassed just to exist. I do remember Bush giving Howard and Blair the Medal of Freedom. Bush fucking loved Howard, because Bush had so much resistance from so many leaders around the world for his illegal invasion of Iraq. But Howard was his non-stop cheerleader. Speaking of embarrassing, fucking Bush loved him. Bush and Howard loved that Bush loved him. It was a sort of mutual wank fest going on there, because Bush had such a hard time from virtually every political leader around the world, and Howard was just basically humping his leg the whole time. Lee, I'm not aware of George W. Bush ever calling 9/11 a calculable loss he saw coming. That is not a phrase I have ever seen, literally before you just put it there. In fact, Bush's biggest problem was the inability to see 9/11 coming. But I mean, a lot of intervening time. There's been lots of time for Bush to say a lot of dumb shit, because he's not very bright. Oh, I just thought of something with this lighting, actually, and I'm all washed out because I had the lighting set up for a different camera. Lee got it from Reddit. Again, I'd want a primary source. Got it from Reddit is not a very good source. Sorry, I'll be back in a minute. I'm just going to... Actually, I'm not going to do it from here. What's this do? Hey, what's that do? Do I look less washed out now? I do. I look less washed out. That's okay. That is quite okay. Now I just have to adjust to there being much less light in here. It seems weirdly dark in here now. Like, it doesn't look that different on the camera. But there's two sets of lights in. I'm broadcasting from the kitchen. And there's two sets of lights in here. One is just a very pleasant soft light, and the other ones are really bright. And I had the really bright ones on, and my eyes just have to adjust. God, it almost feels gloomy in here. It's not. There's quite good lights, but I just have to mentally adjust to it now. Okay, I'm going to actually put this in. Bush called 9/11 calculable loss he saw coming. It looks like there aren't a great many matches for your search. So that doesn't immediately point to any sort of quote like that. Justin, yes. Howard and Scummo are both very much the US's lapdog. I mean, they're like those embarrassing little puppies that hump someone's leg. And Charlie, it is a good point. We were their dog long before Howard. We allowed their bases here. That fun during the Cold War actually made us a target. If there had been a nuclear war, we most definitely would have been a target because of the US bases here. Rather vital part of their communications network. Sorry, I just realized I'm just going to check something. What's this do? I just want to look at this because this laptop is very bad at showing me what I look like on the thing. So I'm actually just looking at my. Oh yeah, very, very soft, comparatively low res, but not bad. That's okay. All right. Oot you go. There we go. Right, as well. Yes, you're saying either Bush looked like Saint compared to Trump. And we used to always point out how fucking stupid George W. Bush is because he's fucking stupid. He is very fucking stupid. But again, oh, well, Bush was so much better than Trump. Bush started an illegal war based on lies that he knew were lies that cost more than 1 million lives and virtually incalculable money, like trillions of dollars. George W. Bush is a fucking monster. This whole idea, he's so good, I miss him now. No, George W. Bush was a fucking monster. Perpetrated such evil on the world. And then Obama continued all the drone strikes. I was really surprised when Trump actually increased the bombing. It's gotten virtually no coverage while he's been in office, but Trump actually increased the bombing and drone strikes in various places in the Middle East, actually. So, and yes, Raiders, Trump pardoned murderers and murdered people who probably shouldn't have been executed. He's been executing poor people and pardoning rich people and pardoning military murderers. So, just, we all wonder what would have happened if Al Gore had won in 2000, or if Al Gore's actual win in 2000 had not been derailed by the Supreme Court. Maybe he would have paid attention to the security briefings, because Bush actually received a specific security briefing that had the headline, Bin Laden determined to strike within US. and ignored it because it didn't fit their agenda. And then it happened, and then they pulled their bullshit. It's impossible to know how different the world would be, basically, if Gore had won in 2000. Maybe 9/11 wouldn't have happened. Maybe if it had, Gore would have handled the aftermath better. Maybe Gore would have handled it worse. I don't know. It is very clear, though, that Gore is orders of magnitude more intelligent than Bush, but Democrats were never shy about bombing other countries. I don't think the Democrats would have launched a full-scale invasion. It just would have been like Clinton with like Bosnia-Herzegovina in the 90s, just fucking bombing shit. I think that's what would have happened. I think Gore would have ordered bombings, and it would have been Afghanistan. Iraq would not have entered the picture. Iraq had nothing to do with anything. I think Gore just would have ordered bombings in Afghanistan. Possibly an invasion, but probably not. But it definitely would have been bombings. And yes, Raiders. I think it's like it's going to be one of Trump's weird legacies to have executed more federal prisoners in his single term than have been executed in the previous 150 years. It's like, oh my, and I think it's like the only time a president, or one of the extremely few times a president has had the audacity to execute federal prisoners in the lame duck period of their presidency. Yeah, Trump's a fucking monster. He's a different sort of monster. He's a ruder monster. That's the thing. We've been sidetracked by how rude and obnoxious Trump is. I mean, he's a piece of fucking shit. He's just a piece of fucking shit. And he has put actual white supremacists and Hitler-worshipping neo-Nazis in his White House, basically. He had Steve Bannon there for a while, but he's still got that horrible, creepy insect man whose name I forget. It's funny. He's had two guys go on TV with spray-on hair that melted under the lights, which I think is just fucking hilarious, actually. Weird Steve, what's his name? He's another Steve, but he is a full-on white nationalist pushing actual Nazi ideology. I know people say, "Oh, you're the left, you say everyone you don't like is a Nazi." This fucking psychopath is like a down the line racist to his core, white supremacist, and actively preaches Nazi and fascist ideology, and has snuck all this fucked up shit into laws and executive orders during Trump's time. I think most of the time Trump has been absolutely unaware of it. Now, so Steve Bannon's the other one. This guy is actually still on the White House staff. He's much younger than Steve Bannon. I can't remember his name, but he's another Steve. Raiders, stacking the Supreme Court with right-wingers is the least offensive thing Trump's done. I mean, you know, the openings were there as he had the chance. What would be funny, and I bet the Democrats don't have the guts to do it, but constitutionally, they are able to increase the number of judges on the Supreme Court. They could just say, we're actually just going to put 3 more positions on the Supreme Court, and make them progressive judges, or at least not hardline right-wing judges. So there's some balance. That's a thing that they are allowed to constitutionally do. Bet they don't have the guts to do it. They got a lot. If they want to change the future. Stephen Miller, thank you. Raiders, yes. I call him horrible, creepy insect man because he doesn't look human most of the time. He looks like some insectoid alien that has skinned a particularly unattractive human and stretched skin over its exoskeleton. Doesn't look human. Absolutely does not look human. But yes. So, I mean, the Democrats need to attack. Sujuk, he's only 35. There's been video. He had this is a cheap shot to go at, but he had a receding hairline when he was in high school. It's really fucking weird. Yes. No, Fox, he absolutely makes me think of the insect alien from Men in Black who skinned the dude in War. That bit where the alien thing comes out. I keep expecting that to happen with Steve Miller. It's like weird. Lee, you know how much worse that sounds now. That Bush line, you heard it from someone who said he got it from Reddit. I am seriously going to go on the record as saying that is not a thing Bush ever said, because it may not have escaped your attention. I am more than a tad of a political obsessive, and I feel like I would have seen it if Bush had said that. And I actually feel quite confident saying Bush never said that. And if you'd point me to reliable primary source, I would be glad to be corrected. But I actually feel quite confident saying Bush never said that. I don't have to be sorry, Lee. I'm just saying. I'm confident it didn't happen. Nobody. Well, okay. Trump's not going to go to jail. The White House won't pursue him. Like the Biden administration will not pursue Trump. They'll just go, you know what? No, it's done. He's gone. Fuck it. But there are a bunch of state-based lawsuits after him at the moment, and I don't know that any of them would result in him going to prison, but they'd cost him a lot of money. They would absolutely cost him a lot of money. But again, I think, oh God, I would be so happy to be proved wrong. But I feel pretty confident the Biden administration is not going to go after Trump. They're just going to go, you know what? He's fucking gone. Let's just put it behind us. Fuck the guy. I would so like to be wrong about that, because Trump is clearly an absolute fucking criminal on so many levels. Him and his family have scammed millions, in fact, probably hundreds of millions of dollars since he's been in office, like just outright criminal enterprises. But I don't think it would happen, but I would love to be wrong. Yes, Raiders. The Virginia DA, New York City DA. Like I said, there are a lot of state-based lawsuits that Trump will be in big trouble with leaving offices, because he won't have that weird protection. People think you can't prosecute, and there's not actually a law that says you can't prosecute a sitting president. It's just like a feeling that you shouldn't do it. But Fox, Angry Bunch sounds like an excellent idea, actually. Let's fucking do it. Right. Copy that, as they say in the classics. Past. All right. So, fuck me, that seems to have actually posted to Facebook as well. Okay, good to know. Good to know. So that is the link for anyone who is in the mood to join the stream, and we could have a bit of Angry Bunch action happening. Seems like a thing to do. But yes, on a Wednesday. I don't know if anyone else is still working, but I'm off in the bloody holiday mode, and I don't know what's going on. Rated Trump Jr. lied to Congress. Oh man, they all fucking lied. What I love is Trump is trying to find out, can he preemptively pardon himself for things he hasn't been charged with yet, which is fucking hilarious. No, but if you do join, you'll actually go to bed afterwards, not stay up with AIDS till 7 a.m. But when you're having a conversation like that, yeah. Okay. Yeah, well, do an Angry Bunch. I'm going to make a fucking martini. I think my gin and martini glass would be suitably chilled by now. I got my fruit juice under my belt. So being responsible for the first hour. Cedric, how you doing?
Hi. Good.
And there he is. There we go. Well, look. It's all the beardy guys with glasses. It's the beardy guys with glasses show. Dun, 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 dun.
Could shave this all off.
Yeah.
I could, but I wouldn't
funny.
look as good as I do.
I don't know where my
Yeah.
shaver is. I haven't shaved since I arrived here in Berlin, so
I think I've shaved once or twice in the last 20 years.
it's so bothersome.
It's been shorter. It's been
Yeah.
quite short,
Mm.
but complete shave once or twice.
No.
Yeah, I've done it once or twice, and I'm like, no,
Yeah,
never again.
never again. That was it. Yeah, all right.
The closest I got was a couple of years ago. I grabbed the electric shaver and went a bit too close to one spot that I liked, around here. And no, that's not.
Yeah.
It was across the mustache. I'm like, that's gonna look odd. So
Yeah.
just finish it all off, and everyone was like, no. My girlfriend, her mom, her dad, all of them were like, no,
Yeah.
don't do that
Yeah.
again.
And
Yeah.
you-
So never did it again.
anything really goes here in Berlin, but of course there's one facial hair style that you cannot do.
Yes. All the facial hairstyles except one in Berlin. Yes.
Yes, because it will unironically get your ass kicked.
Yeah. I think the major accomplishment of Hitler, he ruined a hairstyle, that sweeping fringe down there, the mustache, the name Adolf, and the name Hitler. He fucked all those. All Stalin ruined was the name Stalin. His hairstyle's not ruined. His big bushy mustache is ruined. The name Joseph isn't ruined. You don't want to be called Stalin. Stalin's a pretty dodgy fucking name. And Mussolini, again. Mussolini was bald and didn't have facial hair.
And you
I
see a lot
suppose
of clean-shaven
Benito,
guys.
if your name was Benito, people might look at you a bit funny. But yeah, he Mussolini just ruined the name Mussolini. But Hitler fucked everything. He's like, no, not that mustache, not that hairstyle, not that first name, not that last name.
No.
Sorry, that's all Hitler did wrong. That's
all he did wrong.
that's all he did wrong.
The one thing he did right was that he killed Hitler.
He killed Hitler. Yeah. So far as we know, I did read a really interesting article, and it started off talking about, how that scene from that rather spectacular German film Downfall became a meme, which still, every now and then someone comes out with a new Hitler reacts to whatever, and 9 times out of 10, I find them piss funny. I really enjoy those. But it started off talking about that, but then it went with that story of Hitler in the bunker. It might not be true because the primary sources for it are actually quite unreliable because they were fans of Hitler, basically, and they think that's an heroic thing to have done. You'll never take me alive. But that seems
Really,
to be more like,
fans of Hitler might be unreliable. Really,
I know, right? Radical stance being taken on the Angry Channel. People who like Hitler, not to be trusted.
Yeah.
It's a radical
careful.
stand, but I'm taking it.
Okay, you might get cancelled, but I agree.
Oh no, Charlie!
Yeah.
Did you drop an olive jar? Does that mean it broke?
That was going to be my question. Did it break? I hope it didn't
Yeah.
break.
I think the being pissed off is it broke. Yeah.
Oh dear.
Yeah. Funny story about me and encountering olives when I was 7 years old.
Okay.
We were at church. It was a church lunch, so it wasn't a soup day. It was an everyone make a dish and bring something, right?
Yeah.
It was a salad. There were olives in it. It was half one of those black olives. I put it in my mouth, immediately spat it out, and said, "This tastes like a beetle."
Oh, was it a beetle?
No, it was an olive.
Oh, I thought, and the trick was it was actually a beetle.
No. It was an olive, but
Oh man.
keep in mind, I'm an Aspie, so I can't word things
Yeah.
correctly.
I know.
So,
Hey, nobody.
so you know how some beetles are really smooth on the outside,
Yeah.
and those really black olives are sometimes smooth and shiny on the rounded surface.
Yeah.
Yes.
Put two and two together, texture,
Beetle,
mouthfeel, smooth.
That's why I hate passion fruit. Like when someone does like a pavlova, anything with passion fruit on it, and the seeds are in it, because you can't avoid crunching them, and I just feel like it's like you're like crunching little bugs between your teeth. I hate it.
Anytime something crunches in my mouth, I instantly panic because there's been quite a few times when that something crunching was a tooth.
Ooh. I have had that happen, yes.
So, I've got a lot of fillings.
Yeah.
My teeth are a bit shit. I don't think they're as shit as AZ's got to. That'll be quite a tough one to beat.
Yeah, no, that was bad, yes.
They do. My teeth do tend to get a little bit brittle, a little bit powdery. And I've broken quite a few.
Oof. Yeah.
I'll put it this way. I've been to the dentist enough times that I know whether I'm going to need anesthetic or not. And spoiler alert, the last 5 times, I didn't.
Oh my god. So my tooth story, I was actually riding my road bike in Geelong. I was coming home, and this woman overtook me, and there was oncoming traffic, and the other guy went into the oncoming car, had to dive into to the side, and it flicked up a stone, and the stone was about, and the stone hit me square in the here,
nasty
and it chipped off a part of my tooth, so I have to get a partial prosthesis for the front part of it.
Oh, man.
$400 at the dentist that day, of course.
It is a lot of money.
And
I've got a tooth over here that's worth about 2,000. So,
and like 6 months later, it falls out. I'm going, where the hell? Like I'm in Germany.
Kirsten's muting us. She doesn't like the tooth story.
Yeah, well, I can't. don't blame her. I went to. And I was in Germany. Like, how the hell am I going to get another prosthesis? It's like it'd be expensive. No, that's fine. Insurance covers it in Germany, but just last week it came out again after a year. So again, that crunching feeling. Yeah, I'm with you though.
It's not nice, is it?
No.
When you go, Joe, chomp, crunch, and I mean, even if it's not a tooth, but you've had it happen enough times, you just go crunch. Oh, what the fuck was that?
No. Yeah, it's always a cause for concern. So you just got. So if you do encounter something, you just got to be careful. That's all.
Yeah, shoot with caution.
But luckily here in Germany, they do cover some of the more easier operations with teeth, so it's not too shabby.
I can't complain too much about the cost I've had on mine. My mother's mouth is worth over $8,000.
Yeah, no.
Kirsten's muted us because of teeth talk. Okay, all right.
So
somebody want to put a
let's-
thing in the text that we can stop if we we can stop
we-
and talk
we
about
can
something
probably
else.
dive off the conversation anyway. It makes me squirmish regarding the costs.
I'm actually
the
guess
cost
part
is
of the
bad.
dentist is pretty good.
Pun?
I guess the dentist I see is pretty good. So I've been looked at that. I've been there a few times.
Yeah.
They're actually pretty good. They've got little TV screens mounted on the ceiling so that you've got something to be distracted by.
Oh, that's nice.
While they work.
Yeah.
So like there's it's not the most comfortable feeling holding your mouth that wide open for a long time and having someone work. But you can actually get quite a surprising amount of work done without needing to be numbed up.
Yep.
Yeah.
My dentist, she speaks German and English, and Turkish, I think, and she's a very lovely person, and I guess because we just talk about how she thinks Australia is full of sunshine and poisonous animals, and
well, that's not that far from the truth.
Yeah, it's not that far. And
no.
she questions my sanity while I'm still here in winter. But I haven't had any major surgery, so I can't really, aside from fissures in my molars, like I've got really, really deep fissures in my molars that need to be capped to prevent tooth decay. Other than that, I haven't had anything serious done to my teeth ever in my life, apart from true fillings.
I still technically got all of my teeth, although some of them are 80% filling.
That's still a tooth.
Technically, it's still mine, and one of them's been root canaled.
Okay, I've never had that done.
$2,000 one. There's only really one part of the procedure that I found very unpleasant, and that's when they actually poison the nerve. They've got to kill the nerve and then cauterize it. And when they kill the nerve, that hurts.
Right.
That hurts. Mind you, after having the reason the tooth had to be done is because it had an abscess. And maybe that's why everything else regarding my teeth has been whatever, because the abscess fucking hurt. It was probably the single most painful thing I have ever experienced. It was very unpleasant, and I don't want that to happen again.
Yeah, I'm glad you dealt with it, because that shit is also partially life-threatening.
I was about to say, an abscess can actually kill you.
Yes,
for those who had a brother die before long ago, he had an abscess tooth that wasn't treated properly, and it did kill him.
Yes, because the bacteria gets into you, because your blood, like your blood vessels go around, gets into your blood, gets to your heart, and it does all sorts of weird things to your heart muscle.
Did you know that John English almost died from a tooth abscess?
I see. I don't know who John English is. Is that terrible to admit on?
Australians would know who I'm talking about.
I lived in Australia for 30 years.
I know. He was big in the 70s. He was. You're too young. He was big in the 70s.
Okay.
And he was big in musical theatre in the 80s. So
I see.
An all-round great guy, actually. He came to perform with another Australian performer in the city I live in, and so we got to meet him, and he was really top bloke, actually.
Okay.
Yes, he has a pretty good reputation.
That's actually how I know about the abscess, because that's what he told us. He was 5 minutes off dying.
Oh,
he just drugged up, and the show must go on, which is that's good reputation.
One of the bigger health tips that my dentist gave me is that you should not only just brush your teeth, but brush also your gums to remove the bacteria away from your gums as well.
In fact, I've had dentists regularly say the gums are more important. The teeth, to an extent, look after themselves. The gums more susceptible. Okay, so Kirsten, sorry, we kept trying to get away from teeth talk. We're going to definitely no more teeth talk. Well, musical theatre, like Charlie's saying, John English did a lot of stuff with Simon Gallagher. That was another 70s, 80s Australian music dude. Yeah.
Mm.
But Yeah, I have to admit, see, various things I'm a snob at. Musical theatre is just not my thing. And I did a theatre degree. That's where I met Aidsy. And so I'm Mr. Serious Theatre guy. And I remember going back to my hometown once, and some friend of my mum's going, "Oh, you're doing a theatre thing." Like and she just said like the shittest musical theatre that was going around at that point, like Phantom of the Opera or something. And oh yes, I love the theatre. Went to see Phantom of the Opera, and I'm just biting my tongue, don't say that's not fucking theatre. Don't say that's not fucking theatre. And I'm just like, oh, cool, great, glad you liked it. Good for you, excellent. I've just never been able to get into musical theatre.
It's not for me either. Although John English will always be the Pirate King.
Yes, Charlie agrees. He's the Pirate King from Pirates of Penzance.
Yeah. He was kind of, I've heard it said that he pretty much brought musical theatre back to life. It was on its last, and he pretty much revived it. That's what I've heard people say about him.
Yeah, well, he's a pretty big name, and like he even did it in his early. I think it was like he went back to it because he was Judas Iscariot in the 70s in Jesus Christ Superstar. And then he was, he's a pop star, rock star, whatever. I think Fox is sorting something.
Yep.
And yeah, then he did the pop star, rock star thing. And then in the 80s, he got back into musical theatre again. And because he was a big name, he was a big draw card. So yeah, he could sort of breathe life back into it. There we go. See, Kirsten's a musical theatre over. Look, and I don't go to normal theatre either because it's too fucking expensive. I haven't been to a live theatre show that wasn't comedy in a very long time. I go to comedy shows.
Comedy ones. They do comedy stage shows at a local theatre near me, and I've been. They're pretty good. They've got some good actors there. Remember their lines well, and in order to make it interesting, they do tend to, even things that were written as serious performances, they make them funny, and they're pretty good actually.
Last time I went to see a big performance was the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe in 2003. I was 13 at the time. We went there as a class when I was living in Traralgon, and it was fantastic. We got front row seats, so we saw everything.
Oh, nice.
Water splattered on us and everything. It was insane. Maybe there wasn't. Maybe that was the year later. That was the smaller performance we went to see. There we go. What is that?
Starwood Nova. Hey Lee, how's it going?
Kirsten asked in chat what I've got. That's just the Starwood Nova. Nothing special.
Again, I need to apologise because I was wrong.
No, that's okay. Oh. It's just it's a thing. You were saying a thing that you heard. I'm like I said, I'm just kind of obsessive and look at all those things, and I feel like that's something I would have heard, but not a big deal.
If you repeat something you've heard, you don't necessarily need to apologise for saying it. If you go, oh, maybe I'm wrong, you don't need to be apologetic about that. You can just say, oh, I could be wrong.
And
it's when people are argumentative. That's when it's a bit different. You won't be an argumentative, so you're right.
Yes, if someone doubled down on something that was obviously bullshit, I'd start to get annoyed. But you didn't do that at all, so that's all cool. Oh, Safa saw Fiddler on the Roof. That's a classic. The Jewish musical theatre. We had. Must have been my parents had it, a 7-inch single of "If I Were a Rich Man." I played that like a million times when I was a kid. The big song from, and Charlie's here as well. Hey, Charlie.
Hello.
Hi.
I got my martini. I managed to rescue some olives.
Excellent.
Oh, good.
Martinis all around.
And dare I say it? Was it shaken?
I nearly had a fucking heart attack.
Oh yeah.
Because I went upstairs to grab the gin and the vermouth and the olives, and then I came down, went to come into my flat, and then I dropped something and it smashed on the floor. Like, oh shit! I dropped my fucking gin. But no, it was just the olives. So that's less of a.
Gin,
it's still annoying, but it's less of a tragedy.
Yes.
Because that's a brand new brand new bottle of gin.
Oof, 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 oof. Yes, yes. Okay, so well, I'm going to have my martini. I think, Fox, you've inspired me. I'm going to have to do something with some Starward after this. Either a sour or an old-fashioned, or because I've got my vermouth out, maybe a Manhattan.
Pretty much what I did was on the back of the bottle of the Mac, there's 2 recipes.
Yeah.
I did the Rusty Mac.
Oh, that's a good one, which is basically an old-fashioned
Yeah.
with Mac in it. That's
But
real simple.
But
Yeah.
instead of what did it say, lemon or lime juice? Lemon. I used my orange bitters.
Oh, yeah. Cool. Excellent.
Yeah, still citrus. Still works.
Oh, nice. Oh, Kirsten wants to know what gin you're drinking, Charlie.
Greenhouse.
Okay.
They're plain or any of their flavored?
It's not just the regular one.
Hmm.
You know, it's not too expensive, and I like it.
Yeah.
So
I still stand by the green apple.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
what makes a good drink
I like
is
I like the blood orange one.
Safa, I have not been back down there since I was 16, and I'm 30. Okay. Correction. I have been back down to Wangaratta a couple of years ago, but it was a quick couple of minutes heading down to Melbourne. But for Christmas, no. Not since I was 16.
Okay. Fair enough.
And only because my auntie was getting married early December. So we
Is that your
stayed for New
hometown?
Year's.
Is that your hometown?
It's where I was born.
Okay.
Yeah. So my family lives there, both sides of it.
I see. Taragon was where I was born, which is why I mentioned it before.
Okay.
Good old the Gone.
Oh yeah, I was born in Clayton.
Oh, yeah.
It's a suburb in Victoria.
Mm. Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
My sister my mother went to university there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. At Monash,
To make it even better, we ended up moving up to Emerald when I was 10 months old, then over to Rockhampton, and then down to Harvey Bay.
Oh, wow.
Convenient
Okay.
places.
That's good news in about
Which is where Charlie
and then you
lives.
left before I got here.
it. Dang.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
Just missed me.
Speaking of,
My mum and
Safa's
sister still love there.
Safa's saying someone got arrested in Harvey Bay for the fires. I assume he was in Fraser Island.
Yeah.
This is right. This is
Yeah.
right. I heard this news last night. I was in bed, so about 6 a.m. your guys' time.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
On Reddit, of course.
Yeah.
Where the news goes. I should get back into Reddit. I was into Reddit in the early days, and I've virtually not been on it for Christ knows how long.
Never really got into Reddit.
I forgot the password for my original account, so I had to set up a new one. Yeah, I used to be really into it, and I know lots of people recommend it for all sorts of things.
I think I was not a Redditor. I was a bit of a slash dotter, and then I joined my Even Line Alliance, which is the wrong finger. That flag there, Test Alliance, please ignore. And they were really big into Reddit because they were all Redditors, and then I got into it that way. Yeah, and now my sister and my father is.
I only got into Reddit very recently. Like, I haven't even had my 1 year on Reddit yet. Or have I?
So,
check.
Yeah, I made an account on Reddit and then sort of didn't really get too into it because there are a lot of people posting things that I didn't agree with.
No, it has been a year. Okay.
Yeah,
But,
people. Go on.
Speaking of Fraser, last weekend, you'll notice I wasn't in for party night because I spent the weekend going out on a boat. Rode out to Kingfisher. That was great fun, and there was a little dingo puppy.
Oh wow!
Oh, cute.
This tiny little. We get in, and there's this dingo on the beach, and then it was like snooping around. Just this tiny this tiny little puppy. He was so cute, and I'm like fighting the urge to go and give him a pat. Like, no, do not pat the doggies. Do not feed the doggies.
Yes,
Would-
But
those
he
are
was
controversial.
snooping around. He was snooping around the beach trying to
Hmm.
get some food, probably.
As someone
But I was
from
thinking, yeah, don't mess with the puppy because his mother is probably lurking in the bushes.
the question, like as someone from Gippsland and then Geelong, like I've never really seen a dingo. Like, would you go near one? Like, is it the same rules as a kangaroo? Like are they aggressive and vicious? Like, I'm not.
That's a
Well,
tricky question. The ones on Fraser
they're
Island,
predators.
yes. The ones on Fraser
Yeah.
Island, yes, because all their food sources are practically gone.
Hmm.
Okay, yeah.
In other areas, maybe not. I have had a close up, like being able to pet a dingo, but it was at a zoo,
Yep.
and the
Hmm.
keepers had it. The keepers were there. It was on
Yeah.
a lead,
Yep.
actually in
That's
a
different.
full body harness. But I did
Yeah.
get to
You
close up.
don't
I was close
stay
up to
away
a
from the
dingo to
wild
pet it.
ones.
Stay away
Okay.
from them.
Mm.
Well, in the zoo, are they really not wild? They're just
Mm.
they're
Yeah.
just well fed in the zoo.
Okay. Kangaroo
Yeah,
rules
it's
apply.
a good
Yeah,
it's a good rule to just not interact. Just keep your distance.
I'd go near a kangaroo before I went
Mm.
near a dingo, unless it's a red
'Cause they,
kangaroo, in which case I'm really staying away from those.
Yeah.
All kangaroos
They-
for both.
They look
And
at
don't
first
go
they
near
look
drop
like
bears.
cute. They look
Mm.
drop bears will kill you. But the dingoes, they look like cute little doggies. But then when they yawn, their
Mm.
jaw opens up, and you're like, holy shit,
Yeah, I know they
they'll eat
have
you.
they have a problem on Fraser Island with people
Mm.
thinking the dingoes are cute little doggies
Mm.
and getting bitten.
And they are cute little doggies,
Yeah.
but
They're beautiful animals.
don't mess
They're
with them.
absolutely beautiful
Well, the thing with the Fraser Island dingoes is there used to be a rubbish tip on Fraser that got fenced off and closed off, so they can't go into scavenge. Fishermen
Right.
used to bury the guts on that from fish. Not allowed to do that anymore.
Mm.
There goes another food source. And the wild horses that were on Fraser have been hunted or removed. There goes their third food source.
Mm.
Yeah.
So when they see a kid crouching down on the ground,
Yes.
looks like a
Yes.
wallaby, that's natural food for them.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I was very nervous about the children. Like,
Yeah,
Mm. I see. Okay.
that's a theory of why they're doing that. And I'm inclined to believe their lack of food source makes them want to, because they're hungry, human.
Mm. It's just
Yeah.
a question. It's just like a really
Yeah.
It's because some people here in Berlin, especially the ones who don't live in Europe, but they've never come across a wild pig before. They see the boars here in
Oh.
Berlin,
Ooh, yeah.
and they're very and some of them in some parts of Berlin. This is like a political historical thing. So you saw the news about the boar taking the guy's bag and the laptop in it. Yes, so that was in West Berlin, right?
Yeah.
And they were generally confined in that small area of West Berlin, and that area is rife during summer with people just holidaying in the sun. They just spend all day in the sun. It's unbelievable, possibly naked, and so they're very used to people just giving them food or whatever. It's illegal to do that, or just leaving food around, and they just move around people. But when you go outside of that area into East Berlin or out into the general German area, they will go you. They will attack you, and people are genuinely surprised about that. I was a little surprised about that, and I kind of read up on them and went, oh, that's a little bit. That makes me a bit fearful of them. And that's why I asked about the dingoes, because this is wildlife that you don't really think about.
Yeah.
Of course you got the case from the 80s with the dingo and the baby, but that's in the middle of Australia. Like, if you have a dingo in a more populated area, their behavior changes just like these wild boars. And I was figuring maybe that could be the case, but of course, if food is scarce, like on Fraser Island, then you have a different different outcome, and it's very interesting to know that.
Yeah.
Because I don't think I'll probably come across a dingo for quite some time. Unless they've got one at the Berlin Zoo, of course.
Yeah, sure.
But yeah.
I mean, the zoo here in the small town I live in has lions. You never know.
Well,
You never know.
well, there you go. Yeah, I know Berlin Zoo's got quite a few animals, so
Yeah.
I think maybe they still have polar bears. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's like the worst place to. No, wait, no. Saudi Arabia would be the worst place for a polar bear, I think.
Yeah, it's I think Berlin's actually pretty okay for a polar bear.
Yeah, it
No,
snows in
Saudi
Berlin
Arabia.
occasionally.
Saudi Arabia, they'd probably pay to have snow in there because they
Yes.
have those indoor ski slopes in Saudi Arabia.
They pay for us to sell them camels and sand.
Yes, because we have so many of both.
And we have such good sand. Our sand
do
is
have
of the
good-
highest quality.
Yes, very fine.
It's true, yeah. You go to a place like Squeaky Beach at the prom, and yeah, you'll find out that's quite good. Yeah, I remember going there when I was young.
That's actually a reason I don't like going to the beach, because the sand squeaks under your feet. And
I didn't like it either.
Again,
Me, the sand's
I'm an
very
Aspie.
fucking feet too.
I'm an Aspie.
Yeah.
Things like that can.
Yeah.
I didn't like it either. Don't worry, I didn't like the Squeaky Beach, but it was interesting. I think it squeaks because not because of how fine the sand is, although that does have part to play, but it's also because it's got a lot of quartz. It's got a lot of quartz in it, and when quartz rubs, it causes a piezoelectric effect and creates sound from that. It's beautiful, and that's how we have like clocks and such for our computers and watches for the most part. Is these quartz timers, but yeah, sorry, I just nerded out a little bit.
I have a quartz element toaster.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
And it's older. It's older than I am. It's fucking ancient, and it still works. And it's like you can, because it's a quartz element, like you can put a knife in there, and you won't get electrocuted.
That makes sense. Yep.
Well, that's a fun experiment, certainly, Charlie.
Not that I've done it, because it's like
What you said, that would be.
Please don't.
best.
For those who are watching, please don't put a knife into your toaster to find if it's got a quartz element in or not.
Generally,
I don't know. I don't think they make them anymore.
I believe what. I believe the disclaimer is. This channel, nor any of the people participating, do not condone the use of inserting knives into toasters of any
don't do
kind.
that.
Please do not try this at home.
Kirsten planning Christmas trip 3.0. I do hope it works for you this time, Kirsten, having had plans thwarted by COVID. And so I do hope your current revised plan actually works.
I think we can all agree. Fuck COVID.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And we're getting it so mildly, like for the vast majority here, it's inconvenience. Whereas other parts of the world, it's friggin' terrifying.
It is.
At least two of my American friends I can confirm had it.
Yeah.
Because I know, because I'm friends with both of them. They're husband and wife. They're married.
Yeah.
He got it because he works in the prison system.
Oh.
So the joke when he's not gaming with us is he's in jail.
Yeah.
Because he
Yes.
if he has to do a 16-hour or 12-hour shift, and he brought it home and gave it to her. Now she didn't get it as bad, but she still coughs a lot, and to the point where she's throwing up levels of coughing.
Oh yeah, that's horrible.
My uncle in Wales got COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we can all agree. Fuck
Yeah,
COVID.
that's the thing. Now the UK's got that new strain.
Yeah,
It's probably been floating around for ages. It's probably why parts of going super like they've just cases
Like
gone
they
up.
said they've known about it since September.
Yeah. So the situation here in Berlin is a bit more drastic than Australia, I guess. So of course we're under lockdown, but we can still go out. It's nothing like what Melbourne had. I think that's probably what is needed, pretty much.
Yeah, you're probably right.
But if you confine people to their apartments, they will go mad. They'll start rioting in the
True.
streets.
Yeah. Yeah,
Not
even here
good.
in the worst, it was like you can go outside for an hour a day, an hour's It was the acknowledgement of if you literally tell people to absolutely stay indoors, they'll lose it.
Yes, yeah, and it was approaching, and now we're in winter, so yeah, so now we're definitely gonna stay inside, and it's not like Australia where you can still walk outside and you still be okay. You can sit on a park bench and be okay. You get sunlight and it feels warm in your face. No, you get sunlight here, it doesn't feel. There's no warmth on your face at all, and so there's no real benefit of really going outside apart from just seeing blue sky once in a while, because it gets down to 0 degrees during the day. It doesn't really anymore, but yeah, no, I think a hard lockdown is probably required, but I don't think it will happen. And so what's happened is that all stores are closed, grocery stores are open, bike shops are open because everyone rides a bike, auto shops are open, tongue and sheller, petrol bowsers are still open, and people can still go to work, but they recommend to work from home, of course, and a proviso on not using public transport is put out as well. But on that, it's still going up. It's still increasing, if I remember correctly, and the general situation is pretty. Yeah. How cold is it getting in Berlin? It gets yesterday it was 13 degrees. All right.
Yeah, that's pretty chilly.
That's not chilly, but Berlin normally should sit at this time of the year. It should sit around -7. That's when I was here in 2007.
Yeah, that's very cold. That's
So-
sort of sort of weather where you put your food in the fridge to warm it up.
Yeah, actually, you wouldn't be surprised because they put the beer out in the outside if they have a house or something like
Chill it, yeah.
they chill it outside. But as you can
So
see,
Out in the snow.
I'm wearing a jacket at the moment just because I can't be bothered putting a jumper on. I just went shopping before, but at the moment it's like 8 degrees. That's pretty okay. Like we've got more windows open and whatnot. But yeah, so the situation is I can't I normally would go for a ride even though it's a lockdown, but the ICU beds are all filling up here in Berlin, and that's a really dangerous thing to go bike riding. Then you have a car accident.
So you're
can't
just
get-
going, maybe not.
Yeah.
and that means you have to be triaged or someone else to be triaged out of a bed at some point, and someone has to die.
Yeah, you don't want to be that guy.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, we
So I
saw
don't-
that. We saw that in Italy earlier in the year where it got out of control there.
yes,
They couldn't treat other conditions, so a whole raft of people who had treatable conditions were dying because there was no emergency space at the hospital.
Yeah.
And that's what the US is staring down the barrel of. Definitely, all the major cities having their hospitals overwhelmed, and so it's just like, well, watch the fucking death rate go up now because people can't even get treatment. That old 1% fatality is if you get treated.
Yeah, the thing that people don't realize is that if the hospital system is overwhelmed, you can have people dying from a fucking ingrown toenail, theoretically. Well, not theoretically, we know.
For reality, yeah.
Yeah,
If you can't get treatment, shit gets real.
yes.
It's not just a case of
All
the
right.
COVID.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, mate.
Off, are you,
Hi,
mate?
Lee.
And if there's anything I've taught everyone is authenticity is more important than my ego.
Live long and
I
prosper.
endorse that. I endorse that.
Peace and love. And have an
I got
awesome
you,
one.
mate.
What's an ego?
Yes.
What's an ego?
It's not a dirty word, as the mighty Sky would say.
But yeah, you're absolutely right. Like you can, you can,
Basically, if the hospital system's overrun, it's not just COVID cases. People will die from stupid shit.
yeah. I know some hospitals.
Much
Some
so.
hospitals in Berlin have started closing off because they can't accept any new patients.
That must be pretty concerning.
That's terrifying because Berlin's probably the only major city in the area for 200 kilometers around. So
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
unsettling.
yeah, because the next city to the south is Dresden and Leipzig, and the other one is Rostock and Schwerin to the north. So
Yeah. So top tip, anyone in that area, don't
Don't
get
get
fucking
sick.
sick, and don't
Yeah.
get fucking injured.
And
Yeah.
Because
And
you just choose to do that, of course, don't you? You know, you just I'm gonna get sick and injured today. Yeah.
yeah. And so like I just look at the Sydney outbreak. I don't know what it's at now. It's at 80 plus now.
Yeah, but they tested 40,000 people and only got a dozen positives, which is a very good sign.
It's actually not doing too bad.
Positives out of so many tests.
Yes, there was a point raised about the error rate of these tests. I don't know what they are, so I'm not going to cast aspersions on what the error rate is. But there was a question about it.
Who said that?
And if it's if you've done 40,000 tests, you've got 99.99% what's the word? Trust, accuracy, precision. Then you will have a number of tests, like maybe 10, 20, 40 tests that will come back positive, but are false, otherwise called false positives. So, but
well, if the tests are mostly, if as long as the tests aren't giving false negatives, because I mean, a false positive basically it upsets you a bit, and then you find out you're actually okay. That's fine.
Mm-hmm.
You've just been a bit more careful. False negative, of course, whole different.
It's a whole different story. You fall through the cracks, and and
that would be really alarming.
Yes, because a majority of people with majority, that means 50 plus, but like a good sizable portion of people don't have symptoms, and if these people fall through the cracks, and then you have these people unknowingly spreading the virus around, and I think at that point, a lockdown is probably needed.
Yeah, it's actually I haven't got one at the moment, but I've been thinking about getting myself a mask, just because I don't have. I'm pretty convinced I haven't been in contact with it, and it's where I live. It's pretty unlikely. But there's that fucking chance, and if I was one of those asymptomatic cases, there are people I associate with who could possibly die.
Yes. Yep.
Which is if that isn't a good reason, what is?
It's I think I wear a mask pretty much everywhere I go inside. I normally ride my bike around in the middle of the street, so I'm not too close to anyone else. So it's generally okay in that regard. But yeah, wearing a mask is of course mandatory. It's mandatory inside, and it's mandatory on certain streets in Berlin. Those are Berlin-specific rules. So, it's just a.
But this is not. I do have this, but it's not really rated as a surgical mask. It's not going to protect people that well.
It's the bare minimum.
It's better than nothing.
Yeah. I haven't worn a mask in a couple of weeks, but I live in New South Wales, about 4 hours from Sydney, so I should probably wear one. But yeah, I still have them. They're I think there's one in my drawers right now.
No, I got some questions from Safa, so I answer them. How long have I been in Germany for? Since April 2018. And is it difficult for me to drive a car? I've never driven a car. I haven't driven a car since I had a really bad accident in 2017. I hit a pole at 30 km an hour on my bike, and had a really bad concussion for about concussion and post-concussive syndrome for 6 months afterwards, and I still have the ringing in my ears. And I haven't driven a car since then, even though I've been back in Australia a few times. But I can exchange my driver's license. It takes 6 months here in Berlin because it's Berlin. It's Berlin time. So
I just noticed Annette, who'd been having hassle even trying to get a test done, has got a result. No Rona. That's
yes. I saw that on Facebook.
That must be a relief.
Yay.
yeah.
Safa, I live in Port Macquarie. So that part of New South Wales. Yay. We have a winery here, and their wine is nice. I just haven't bought from their winery because I had to buy directly from the winery.
You like wine?
Yeah, I drink wine. Wine's good.
I must admit I don't really like wine.
I'm not a wine drinker. No,
Yeah.
I mean,
I've got yours
I like
then.
wine.
nobody's a
I
wine
mean,
drinker.
I also drink spirits, obviously.
Oh yeah. Straight spirits I can do because it's the
Yeah, I
least
don't mind
amount
a
of
drop of
calories,
whiskey.
right?
This
Yeah.
is a story I've told before, and people still wonder how I survived. One of my birthdays, I had a bottle of Sambuca Black and a shot glass.
I'm seeing where this is going. That's a good effort. That is a strong effort.
The bottle was gone by the end of the night, and I was still conscious.
Oh,
Wow.
Yeah, well done. That's a good effort.
That was not the night I hugged a tree.
No. No. Okay.
The last time I was drunk, I almost walked into a power pole.
Oh no.
I got right
Yeah,
up
no.
close to it, and then it's going, okay, one of these three is the actual power pole. Which one is it?
Yeah.
And just sort of give it a bit of this business. There it is. There's it. All right, I'll walk over there. Good. Yep.
I used to drink a lot of whiskey, and then came here, and I love the beer here in Berlin. So I'm a beer drinker now, but I can't drink alcohol for the foreseeable future at the moment because I take medicine for my
okay.
for my
So you get
ADHD. So and it's amphetamines, so you don't mix amphetamines with alcohol apparently. So this is
That
Well, I mean,
seems
you
like
can,
wise
but
advice.
it's not advised.
I got told that you should only drink 250 ml of beer, and that's okay. Anything more is bad. So I got told that. It's okay.
Drink it. Yeah.
I'm okay with that. I don't drink alcohol at the moment, so it's great.
That's all right. Yeah. I mean, yes, if I had a medical reason, I wouldn't hesitate to follow. Like people think, because I've got all the booze and made myself the rusty Mac here and whatnot. But if someone had come up with a medical reason, whether it was temporary or permanent, I don't think I'd have any problem with going, then I shouldn't drink alcohol then. Okay, cool.
I'm not supposed to drink alcohol because I'm on an antidepressant, and it warns on the packet that it doesn't get along well with alcohol. Well, tough.
So you kids learn to get on. Okay, I won't have any of this antisocial behavior between you.
What it basically means is that it costs a lot less money to get drunk.
There is that. Yes.
That is true. That is true.
It has made me such a lightweight. I wasn't a particularly I wasn't much of a heavyweight to begin with, but really very lightweight now. Very easily knocked around by it.
Ever since COVID started, I became a lightweight because we no longer went to the pub with my friends who are from Philly, and she doles out the tequila shots as well as the beer. So it was. I'm glad we don't really do that that much, actually. No, but like 1 or 2 beers normally gets me for a night, like brings me down, because we have huge half-liter bottles that are like 5% or 6% alcohol.
Yep.
Yeah. So
that adds up.
Yeah, it's 2.5 drinks.
I'm not.
Yeah,
I'm not really that big on beers. But then again, my only experience with beer is like VB and Borax.
Oh well.
Hey,
there's much better beer out there than that.
I've had Guinness, and I can.
I don't do
I can
Guinness.
handle Guinness.
No,
I can handle
I don't
like
like
beers.
stout. I don't like stouts.
We have pilsners here in Berlin. They're pretty much all pilsners, and they're all pretty much made the same way.
What's the blood alcohol limit for driving in Berlin?
I think it's 0.1. Whatever our limit is. What is it? 0.05, right?
Yeah.
I think it's. They say they have a different measurement. Let me just read this.
Oh dear, put on the spot now.
Let's see. 0.5 to 1.09 promilla. So I don't know what that actually means, because it's a different measurement. I think that's 0.05 to I think. And that applies to cyclists too, which is different because in Victoria you can't get done for being inebriated on a bicycle, but you can be done for D&D instead. Yeah, in Queensland you can lose your license. Yeah. Like I've ridden home completely wasted, like half a bottle of whiskey on my road bike, and I don't look drunk at all because I'm clipped in. I clip into my bike whilst drunk. It's a good party trick. So you stay steady
you know
the
what
whole
I
time.
found? I found a lot. I was out on the bike one time. I'd done some work for someone. They gave me 2 bottles of wine, and the bike had one drink bottle holder. So I disposed of the problem, as one does. And I did try to be responsible and walk the bike home, but I was not really competent enough to walk, so I rode it, and that was fine.
Yep.
I could ride fine. I just couldn't walk.
Yep. I have one surprising bike ride I went on. I saw a guy with his bike, and he had in a bottle holder a beer.
Yeah, I've seen that. I've seen plenty of that in the bay.
No, they don't get shaken too much.
There's this one guy that I always see on the bike track riding one of those tricycles. Oh, you know the one?
Like a
Fox?
Oh,
you know the guy, the old
I
old
don't
guy
know
on the tricycle? He's always got a bottle of Hollandia in one hand.
I haven't seen that guy before, but I know the bike track.
Yeah,
I got a good bike and alcohol
and
story.
you know the bay, so it's not surprising that there's guys riding on the track with a beer in one hand.
Is it like a track that he's like lying down? Is it like a recumbent track or something?
No.
Okay.
There's a reason I call Harvey Bay Bougainville.
Probably upsets people in PNG, but anyway. Sorry, I just noticed Amber on Twitch saying no soup for you, and I go, why do you say that? Oh, because I've got a Seinfeld theme for the live stream because it's Festivus. I was really confused. Why did you say no soup for you? Oh, wait, I said a Seinfeld theme.
Once again, forgetting the theme of the show.
Yeah, forgetting the theme.
When did we ever stick to the theme?
I
don't think there's ever been one of these we've stuck to the theme. It's just
wait.
You have
we have a theme.
Just a suggestion.
You have this. You have the title of the live stream, and we just fucking discuss anything but that title.
Yep, sounds about right. You had a bike story though. Nobody else.
Oh yes. I
love bikes.
This guy. It actually was something I witnessed mercifully. So it's the sort of thing you'd see in a slapstick comedy, I reckon. I saw this guy. There was a grassy hill, and at the bottom of the hill was a short little bit of road with some car parking spaces.
Mm.
And just on the other side of those car parking spaces, you know how sometimes they put those logs that are about a foot or so off the ground?
Yeah, annoying.
Yeah, so if you drive too far into your car parking space, you take the nose off your car. And just in front of one of those was a camper van. And I see this guy. He had under his left arm, he's got a carton of beers. Well, not a carton, like a 6-pack. And he's rolling down this hill. And I'm thinking, I wonder if he's going to make it. There's little gaps between these little logs. I'm going, I wonder if he makes it. He disappears out of my sight. And then you just hear this whack followed by this, he didn't make it.
No, that's terrible.
The thing is, he protected his beers. He didn't lose one.
That's the main thing.
He probably wore the handlebars in his guts, but he fucking protected the booze.
Well, it's very hard to move, hard to steer the bike when you got something heavy like that impeding your ability to steer, basically. So I can understand that. That's why I don't do that. I just have a bag and pour the beers.
Especially to go down a 45-degree slope on a BMX bike.
Yeah.
Over the water and then into a log at the other end. He didn't do well. I remember well because you just see him disappear and then you just hear this crunch. Oh, he didn't make it. That's not good.
No. Oh man, I've had a few cases where I've almost done that in the past few weeks. Not with the beer though, just with the bike, because I just got a new bike, and it's a recumbent bike, and it's very hard to steer. It's just over here, but it's covered in all my crap at the moment because of all my IKEA work. So that's it there. It's
Nice.
it's from the Netherlands, and I've been
That's
trying
where my
to.
favorite beer comes from.
Oh, very good, very good.
Yeah,
I took it out for a spin to the local airport and took it onto the runway and did 60 k's an hour on it. So it's pretty
that's a good
dope.
effort.
That's pretty dope. That's pretty dope.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I'll be loving that.
but riding with it, it's so hard because it's so difficult. It's so low to the ground, like it's 43 centimeters off the ground, and it's a different way of balancing. And it's like a child again, and everyone's looking like, "What the fuck is that? And why the fuck are you on that? And why is that? Why is that anywhere in middle of Berlin?" Because everyone just expects regular bikes. They just want to have their life, and they see that, and it's something out of the ordinary. And it's so hard to steady, and it's so hard to ride through the like posts that and the logs obstacle just made me think of that because because it's hard to balance that and
So on the
Had to be
on the
said.
topic of things you don't normally see on the road, two things, both motorized, motorcycle-esque, and both in Harvey Bay.
Yeah.
One, I don't think exists anymore. You used to be able to hire it for tours. It's a motorized motor trike,
Yep.
but you could sit on the back of it, like in the side of the driver, over the back wheels, because it was front wheel, two back wheels. So you'd be like here above the driver. Another one,
I think they're
which
still around.
Yeah, it definitely runs the Esplanade a lot. Another one I saw only once. There was this guy with. Okay, I have to describe his outfit. He had red shorts, right? That's all I remember of what he was wearing, but he was definitely wearing some kind of top. And a scooter, like a Vespa. But handlebars.
oh man,
Those sorts of handlebars that are up there, like you can see on
Yeah.
Harley.
Has anyone seen pictures of? They call them velomobiles.
yes, Velomobil. Like you guys can talk about Velomobiles because I can talk about Velomobiles all day.
So for those who may not be aware, they're basically a grown-up's pedal car. they've got all fairing and aerodynamic stuff around them, but they're human powered. So they cut through the air pretty efficiently, and I'm told you can get up a fair bit of speed on them because of their aerodynamic properties. I
say the 60 kilometer speed that I got on this bike is easily you can maintain that as a fat 30, 40-year-old guy on a flat.
I'll share this. Look, here's a Google image search for Velomobile. You can see what they look like.
Yeah.
Let's see. So I can identify some of these. So let's see. Some of these are Dutch. They have big, massive races with them. Of course, the problem with So the idea of a velomobile is that they are a recumbent trike. So of course I have a recumbent bicycle. It's not the same thing. It's two wheels on that one. A recumbent trike is three wheels. So where can we that white one? See the white one in the top left there? That's a trike. It's a trike chassis underneath, and it's normally fiberglass or a carbon fiber, and they have.
Eddie says they look like vibrators on wheels.
Yeah, they're giant missiles basically, and and some like the Quest XS or the Milan, they can do easily 60, 70 k's now on a fit person can keep that up, and they can do that for a while. There's a guy on YouTube called Saukki, Saukki. He used to be up until like last week. He had a Quest XS, I think, and he rode around Finland. Like I think he lives close to Oulu, Oulu, which is pretty close to the Swedish border, and he would do easily 200-kilometer rides.
Wow.
Easily.
That's just showing off.
Yeah, but I think like if I lived in say Geelong again, I would probably have a velomobile, but I'd find it really hard to go up the hills, which is endemic in all recumbents, because you have to you can't stand up on your pedals and you beat them down. You can't do that. You instead
Maybe
you're lying on
assist one.
you're lying on your back, and if you
And
push,
like,
you go on. Sorry.
and anything that's got 3 wheels is an absolute bitch to steer.
Yep.
Yeah.
So most of these have 2 wheels at the front and 1 at the back. So if you turn too hard, you can flop. And there's
The
quite
3-wheeler Morgan.
yeah.
You get a bum sandwich pretty quickly.
Yeah, there's one. The one that Salky has is now a Quattrevella, which is a 4-wheeled one.
Oh, okay.
He got that because it's easier to drive in the snow, because here snow and ice in Finland, of course, it's not a big anomaly, and that makes sense. But personally, I'd get a Quest or something. But yeah, the problem with climb up a mountain, and if you do the same thing with like the crunching on your, like you would on a regular diamond frame, is that you can kill your knees doing that because you're pushing your back into the seat. And unlike in a diamond frame where you can just stand and your weight does all the work, the whole amount of like forces are on your knee, and it's terrible. So you have to just ride really, really fast to get up a mountain.
I imagine it would be beneficial to use those either the straps or the cleats, so that you could actually pull the pedal back.
Yes, yep. That's absolutely. You use a cleat. Normally the default thing is you have a cleat, an SPD cleat or something, because
I think if you're around a lot of hills, it might pay to get electric assist.
Yes, or if you want to get fit. If you want to get fit as well.
You want to get super fit.
Yeah. If you want to get arthritic knees.
Well, as long as you
wow, that's cool. There's a little AIDSy
emotes, AIDSy.
There you go. But it's you have the cleats because it's dangerous. Because your feet are forward, and if your feet slip off the pedals,
you have a bad
and
day.
they get sucked under the bike as it's going 40 k's an hour, which can cause massive tissue damage.
That's going to, to put it in plain terms, that's going to fuck your shit up.
Yeah. because some tracks have got 2 wheels in the back, and that you run your foot over. You'll come off the bike.
Oh damn!
You'll have a very bad day.
Yeah, it's called foot suck. I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure it's called foot suck.
Yeah,
that's a foot fuck. That's for sure.
Kirsten's vehicle fun at work. They got a fancy new forklift and a ride-on sweeper. You need a special license for the forklift, but they can just ride the sweeper around having fun in the warehouse. I like that, making your own fun at work.
But finally, like with recumbents, they don't get seen too often because they were banned by the UCI, because for good reason. A fat guy like me, 30, can do a Tour de France speeds quite easily on a recumbent. So the Tour de France banned them from every race, and that's why they're not a major. They were getting popular in the 30s, and then it flopped after that decision.
There's a guy in my church who actually has one.
Yeah,
a recumbent.
Does he? Is it 2 wheels?
I haven't taken much notice. I don't know. It's his. He might have the recumbent trike because he'd been in an accident some time ago. So, risking it with a bike might be dangerous. I don't know.
Yep,
I have to find out more.
Yeah, people after they have an accident with back injuries or something, trikes are like a godsend for them because they can continue doing their hobby, and it's a lifesaver. I think. I think it's a lifesaver.
Yeah. Sorry, I just noticed, Kirsten, as we were talking about her vehicle, she's saying the safety guy is off on holidays. So it's like it's not helping their responsible behavior in the warehouse that the safety officer is not there. It's just like, let's go.
Give me a stint there for a week.
When the cat's away.
Nope. Well, give me a stint there for a week. I'll make it safe. Make everything safe.
Is that your specialty?
No, well, sort of. I used to. So when I worked in the lab in Geelong, my biggest thing was safety, because I would always see someone at Deakin doing something fucking stupid. And when I wasn't there, someone actually did do something stupid and put their hand into one of the PCB milling machines. Of course, it's tungsten carbide tipped.
Shiza.
That's a
And-
bad idea.
Yeah, it's a
I
bad
don't know
idea
much
for
about
him.
those things, but that just sounds like a bad idea.
It's I don't know the equivalent. It's bad.
It's a bad idea.
It's a
bad idea.
7200 RPM 20 mil. That's not millimeter. 20 mil. That's 20 thousandths of an inch drill bit. That can tear your skin and bone apart. And yeah. But for the most part,
did they get in trouble or did they learn the hard way? Actually, don't tell me. I'm not sure I want to know.
Yeah, it was terrible. He went to hospital first. He didn't notify anyone first. He got injured. He drove himself to hospital, got treated there, and because he's a foreign student, got billed there. Then he brought the bill back to the university, and when the engineering department got the bill, that's when they knew. That's when they got notified of a occupational industrial accident, and they basically shut everything down because no one was following safety. But in my own,
I saw. Go on.
Oh, basically in my own lab, I would always tell people, no, this is not safe. You have to do it this way. If you don't do it this way, like I'm going to report you and I'm going to yell at you whilst I'm doing it because it's I don't understand. Like it's basic shit like soldering. Like if you don't have glasses, you need to wear glasses on for the most part. If you don't have like a suction cupboard, you need to have a suction cupboard so you don't fill your lungs with a light acid.
It's common sense sort of stuff. I saw when I was at high school, people in the metalwork and woodwork classes were just fucking idiots. So there were times I flat out refused to go and work because, well, frankly, my classmates were tools. They were bigger tools than the stuff the school had actually fucking bought to work with, and I didn't fancy. Like there was a guy working on a lathe and someone actually ran up and pantsed him while he was working on the lathe. Well, no one did anything about it. In the metalwork class, there was a guy working with the oxy torch. In the blinking of an eye, he spun round and torched the fucking acetylene hose.
Oh no!
It like to the day. I'm hoping they fucking replaced it since then. It didn't actually go all the way through, mercifully.
Yeah,
but
what would have happened? Like, I'm not too well versed in these torches.
I transferred out of the class.
I would explode.
I'm not doing that class. Fuck that shit.
Okay, I think around my house as well, because I lived with my parents until I finished PhD. My dad went a bit silly, and he was doing the hedges with his electric hedge trimmer, and he decided to go all lightsaber with it for some reason. And,
I think I know where this is going.
And he cut the fucking cord.
Yep, I saw that coming.
And oh my god! So yeah, I'm like this big safety guy.
Did he get a Darwin Award or did he live?
He lived because
no, that corded garden things. You got to be real careful with because
if it's got the power to kill you, respect it.
Yeah.
Just imagine that thing is Eric Cartman going, "Damn shit, respect my fucking authority."
Yeah.
Yeah. You were going to say something, Charlie?
I have a story about from high school science class, some boys being silly, like they do. It was it wasn't my class. I heard it secondhand, so I don't know the exact details. But they were doing stuff with sodium.
Ooh.
And showing like how sodium reacts with water, and it's like. Yeah. And there were these boys, some of these boys pinched some of the sodium, put it in their pockets.
Oh no!
And then right after science class, they had PE.
Oh.
And they go to PE with sodium in their pockets, and then they start sweating and have a really bad time.
And their pockets caught on fire. Oh my god!
Part of that's comical, and the other part's horrifying.
Yeah.
I got this image of their pockets exploding, which sounds funny until you realize their pockets just fucking exploded, and that's really fucked.
Yeah.
Or they just immolate themselves in flames because that's what happens.
Yeah. That would be really bad.
Well, those boys aren't passing on their genes in more ways than one.
I was about to say, down in the pocket region, that's
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Mhm.
I like that.
But that's what they get for being silly.
Yep. That's the reason women live longer than men, basically.
Mhm.
Charlie, that's one level past silly. Silly,
Yeah, it's a
Only
little
one?
bit worse than silly. Yeah,
silly
Only
is pulling a
one?
water balloon with glitter and throwing it out a cop.
yeah,
I
Yeah.
saw a video talking about. Go on, Angry.
I was just say the silly thing we used to love doing in the science labs. You work out with the Bunsen burner when you open the air vent all the way, so you get the very sharp blue flame. But then if you cover the air vent with your finger, you get the floppy yellow flame. But when you take your fingers off the air vent, it releases a big ball of flame. And the longer you hold your fingers over the air vent, the bigger the ball of flame it releases is. And we do it like you do it for like 2 seconds and let it go, and it go foomf. And you do it for 5 seconds and it goes foomf. And then someone holds it and they've held it for like 10 seconds and you're going, no, dude. No. And then they're scared and they're scared to let go. And the longer they hold on because they're scared to let go, the bigger it's going to be. We had one where it's just this huge ball of flame went right up to the ceiling. Of course, it didn't burn anything because it just dissipated when it hit the ceiling. But it was
how many people lost
incredibly
eyebrows in that
spectacular.
class?
No, Slummeth, you're misbehaving. Sorry. See, Charlie can't see your comments because she's on a mobile phone. And behave yourself, Slummeth, on Twitch is all I'm saying.
I can see, and I may or may not have a mod sword, Slummeth. Behave.
Ooh,
Yes.
the mod has spoken.
I'm
Yeah.
sitting here like I don't know what's going on.
Oh no, he's
I
just,
can't see anything.
Don't worry.
he wants
Is it
us to
someone
totally
being
love
rude?
you. He just wants us.
They're
To,
just-
he actually hasn't said any. If he'd said anything gross, I would have kicked him out. But
Charlie, they're just being thirsty over you, and I
yes,
don't blame them.
it's
Yeah.
some
Well, I
Charlie.
get that.
To be fair.
Yeah, that's okay. It's
At least
normal.
Slummeth has got good taste.
Yeah.
He does. Well, they do. I don't know whether
yes.
they are.
Aside from
Okay,
like the
I'm used to it.
I'm sure you are.
from my high school
Well,
experience,
Charlie,
we-
you have me as a friend. Of course you're used to it.
Yeah.
for my high school experience, so I didn't really like we did the lithium and then sodium because we were learning about valence electrons and how they interact.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and we did it properly and whatnot. But in year 7, I remember one of the class clowns decided he would go help the teacher up the front, and the teacher was making gas bubbles from the gas tanks, from the gas. Gotta help me out here. Gas tap in the science class, and
Yes.
and so he would just let this bubble get really big. It was really funny, and the teacher had his head really close to it, and he just lit the bubble on fire with the teacher really close to it. Like, it was funny, but in retrospect, it was probably not that great. But you shouldn't. He had the kid had a rep. He had a rep.
I have a class clown story about high school. I don't know who it was. This is something I experienced after the fact. So we were in woodwork, and some chuckle fuck decided to loosen the ring that held the bag for the sawdust extractor.
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
And it was a giant canvas
That
bag
makes
sitting
a
right there.
big mess.
We had to use the belt sander at one point.
Oh, dear.
The teacher stopped class the moment the classroom was filled with sawdust and gave us a huge lecture of why we don't do this.
Ooh.
Let's just say we were lucky we were not using the engraver because it was an electric, it was a heated burning element. And I don't think I need to tell you what happens with sawdust in the air. Explosion.
Yes. Yep, I'm with you. Yep. Sorry, that took me way longer than it should have.
Massive fiery explosions.
Bugger.
Yeah, the teacher gave us all a lecture because someone in the previous class had decided to be funny. It was funny when it happened, until the
course.
teacher told us all off.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
part's usually not so funny.
Honestly, still funny.
Yeah, no, it's funny for the time, but then once I think when a teacher tells you why, and it becomes
To-
like a
To make this even better, our woodwork teacher for the year was the head of the manual arts department.
manual
So
arts.
That's what we
woodwork,
call it.
metalwork.
Yeah.
Ah, I see.
Yeah,
Never heard
that
of
was
that.
his department. He was in charge of everything.
Yeah.
So he didn't have to go to his higher up. He was the higher up.
Ah.
Yeah. No. Yeah, you don't fuck with those type of like powder explosions at all. I remember my grandfather telling me about them because I played Empire Total War, and I talked about like the steam explosions in the cannon foundries. He said, yeah, that was a thing. It happened a few times in England when I was alive, and yeah, I don't think it ever happened in Geelong. That's what he said. So it's just nuts. So you should be aware of that.
Oh yeah, my
Huh.
my
Empire
high
Total
school.
War. Huh. I have that, and I've never had that happen yet in the game. But I haven't played in years, so.
At my high school, we had a real. We when it happened, like okay, fire drill, but it was a real fire. The home ec room basically blew up because someone was an idiot with the gas stove, I guess. And from that day on, no students were allowed to use the gas stove, only electric. And that's why for a long time I didn't know how to use a gas stove because I learned on electric.
Yeah.
Well, Charlie, didn't you grow up in Queensland? We don't have gas stoves up there.
Yeah.
There
You
aren't
look
gas
up,
stoves in Queensland. As
Well, they're few and far
They're not
between,
common.
but they're around. Yeah.
They're not common.
bakeries have to be careful if that they don't have huge clouds of flour because that night and
Very
cause
flammable.
explosions. And when people first get told that, they think it's a joke, like, oh, flour's going to explode. No, you get fine flour particulates in the air and it will fucking explode. And more than one bakery is burnt down because of that.
Yeah. It doesn't look believable, but it happens.
Yeah,
I mean, the Great Fire of London was started by a bakery.
That's the dominant theory.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
No.
Yeah, it's dangerous stuff.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So, luckily, I never had to. I didn't do woodwork, metalwork at all. So, I never. Yeah.
I burned my fingertips so badly. What were we doing? It was like we were making these like money boxes or something, and we like heating up bits of acrylic to then mold it to the thing. And I wasn't because they put the acrylic on these little metal trays to heat them up, and I wasn't thinking I wanted to move the metal tray out of the way, not thinking about the fact that it had just come out of the thing, and I burned the absolute living shit out of my fingertips. I was in so much pain.
Oh. Yeah, I did do some plastic work in year 7, and then I didn't do any other technology after that. And yeah, I know what you're talking about because we had to do sort of the same project thing. Yeah, it's no good. I've burnt myself a few times with soldering irons, but it's not really that bad. Like you just jerk away as soon as you get it. But I haven't done anything serious to myself working. Oh, I have inhaled a big air of flux, which is you have solder. You have solder here. I don't know if you can see that. And there's my cam. And you most of the time people say, oh, like when you solder the stuff that comes off at the steam, I guess. Then they say it's lead, and like, no, it's not lead. It's flux. It's vaporized. It's heated up flux, and flux is a light acid that helps.
I think solder used to have lead in it.
Yeah, that's right. This is leaded. I'm pretty sure. I think. No, don't see PB in there. But yeah, some solders are leaded, and but they don't release lead into the air because lead has a much higher melting point, high vaporization point, and so it's just flux, and flux is just used to D something to the copper. Copper interacts with oxygen and turns green over time, and it makes it pretty shitty to solder onto. So the flux is there to help clean that up and get rid of that oxidation. And and if you breathe it in, it goes into your lungs and it irritates the shit out of your trachea and whatnot. And that's the accent I had when I was a PhD student. Don't do it. It's terrible. My friend did the same thing and he was coughing up blood. So
Yikes.
That's pretty severe.
don't do it. It's not good for you. It's not good for you. So, but that's the extent of my injuries. I get more injuries cutting tomatoes or something, or onions. So, no.
Okay. Well, I'm going to go to bed.
Is it that time already?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a little bit late. Oh, sorry. Kirsten's safety things for working in a distillery. The first line of their safety induction is, in the unlikely event of a fire, will most likely die in the flame ball. You're not allowed anything with battery beyond the airlock. And while we have 40,000 litres of water on site, it's unlikely to help.
Yeah. That sounds all right.
No.
Annette, Annette, I don't know. Annette, did you want to join the stream, or do you just want us staying here to provide entertainment late?
Oh, I've just figured out how to see the chat.
Okay, it's a little bit difficult.
And now
on the
I've
phone.
seen the string of thirst posts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
The slumber.
First post.
Thank you, I'm flattered.
Yeah.
The thirst is real.
Slumber has been dying for you.
Yes. I think you
Oh,
have a
the
fan,
joys of
Charlie.
living in dangerous environments. Yeah, it's not just alcohol in the distillery where Kirsten works. It's alcohol under pressure. It's just like,
Yeah.
Anything under pressure is dangerous. Yeah.
Yep. Even air under
Yeah.
pressure can be dangerous.
A person under pressure is dangerous.
me under
Aspens
pressure.
are very dangerous.
A person.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you don't want me. You don't want me exploding under pressure in your general facility. I'll tell you that.
No, we've all seen your videos.
That's not pretty. Not pretty.
As
Well,
a
did
friend
I
has
mention
said
that I
to me recently, I go from 0 to bitch in 3 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a little
Same.
picture of a speedo. It won't show on my camera because my camera doesn't like my phone. But it's like a little speedo dial, and it says zero to cunt in 0.8 seconds.
Yep. I have two animations people gave me. One is the angry meter, and it's a little GIF where it just sort of smacks straight around to 100 and bends the needle. And the other one's the give a fuck meter, and the needle just kind of keeps twitching around 0, just barely giving above 0. I like both of them.
Oh wow.
Okay, and it's doing an early one. I'm going to bed. I cleaned around my computer desk today. I'm not joking, for the first time in years, and now it looks weird because it's clean. But so that's my first little bit of holiday work. I cleaned around the computer desk. Now I've got to start working on some shelves and some stuff that's still in boxes. So I'm trying to be productive on my break, because I feel like I'll feel better if I do that.
Something and go, wow, I didn't know that was there all this time.
No, I did. I seriously found a couple of things like,
I'm serious. I believe it.
I took the time to organize my general schedule of what I should be doing, like household schedule, like what should be gone. I use Notion to do all the scheduling and whatnot. And my place is really clean. 2 months ago, this place had clothes all over the floor, and it was terrible. Maybe it's not so nice for some people, but it was very terrible. But now it's generally okay. and my desk is clear, mainly because I built another desk right next to it, and you can see the mess over there.
It's fairly obvious by the backdrop here. I have a lot of clutter.
Well, not better.
Great to see you.
Yay! Hi, Nanny.
Yay! I'll go turn the light on.
So, yeah, it's good to have that schedule. Like, trust me, it feels good. Feels good to wake up and have a clean abode, basically.
Yeah. So I did kitchen stuff as well. Did the dishwasher twice today. But they were there. God, that was chaotic for a second there, Nettie. But yes,
Sorry.
cleaning around my computer joke, no joke, for the first time in years, is pretty radical. So I'm continuing with radical stuff in the coming weeks. All right, I'm actually going to go to bed. I don't know why. I don't really have to get up early tomorrow, but I don't want to get too wasted. Maybe tomorrow on Friday. Yeah. Oh, tomorrow's Christmas Eve, isn't it? Jesus.
It is.
Yep. Shopping closes
up until fucking midnight, and then off to an 8:30 service the next morning.
Yeah.
I have
But
to.
then again, so will the priest in charge. So it's not like it's all against me.
I have to stock up on olives and then
because you broke
go
your
around
olive
the corner. Yeah.
Very sad.
And then go to a party around the corner.
I have to shop for at least 4 days of food because the shops close until the 28th.
Okay.
From 2 o'clock tomorrow.
People go nuts here when the
I've gotta make a
shops
salad.
close for 12 hours. How nuts do people go when the shops are closing for 4 days?
Oh, they're pretty used to it by now.
Oh. You'd reckon people here would be, but they're idiots. But anyway, I am going to go to bed. I don't know if anyone will be around tomorrow night, being Christmas Eve, but because I'm not doing anything. Same as New Year's Eve. Jesus, I'm probably going to be doing this on New Year's Eve. I can't be going out.
I remember last New Year's Eve angry. I remember it.
I remember it.
We stayed up till 3 just so
Wow.
it could be Stella's New Year's Eve in Western Australia.
Yes.
That's
I
dedication.
was drunk as fuck that night, but I
Yeah.
remember it.
Me too.
Yeah.
That was when I first started making cocktails.
Yes.
As I said in the chat feed, the other live stream, Aidsy stayed on in the after party after everyone else gone. It wasn't really a party anymore. It was just Aidsy and me talking.
Yeah.
And it was 7:45 when Aidsy passed.
Wow.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
At that point,
Aidsy,
you just
the
stay
sun's
awake.
come up, mate. And he's anyway, he kept talking and he's just he started getting slow. I said, mate, I think you need to go and get some sleep. And to be honest, I could do with some as well.
Yeah.
He's going, in a bit. I'm okay. I'm just.
At that point, everybody just stay awake.
He is a trooper.
He is a trooper.
Yes.
There was that Friday night a couple of weeks ago where he lost it
his
mid-sentence.
face
And
hit
I had him on screen for an hour doing this.
Yeah. Well, this time he fell forward. He just sort of
He fell
casually
forward.
sort of-
Okay.
and his head hit the desk in mid-sentence.
Oh, God damn.
Aw.
His head hit the table mid-sentence. He just went,
Oh, man.
He's a trooper. There you go.
That's amazing determination.
Yeah.
yeah.
Wow.
And then he picks
I
up in
just turned the
mid-sentence.
camera off and went and lay down for a while. I thought, I want to see how. I wondered if you'll come back and want to talk more. So I left it connected.
He did
He
it
goes,
yesterday,
have you been
too.
watching me sleep? He goes,
Yeah.
have you been watching me sleep? And I said, nah, man, I went off and did other things. He goes, damn it.
But yeah, he did it last night as well. Yesterday, 24 hours ago as well. So.
All right. All good. Well, I am actually going to go to bed. So everyone in the live stream, see
Good
you
night,
later.
Mr. Angry. Good night,
night.
viewers.
Good night. Live long and prosper.